My ex demanded me for child support for a kid that is not mine. My mother and sister are on their side. Some years ago, I dated a girl. The relationship was bad. She was very controlling and abusive. It ended up really bad and we broke up. I kept going on with my life, and after some years I got a decent job, enough to solve all my needs, have a comfortable life, and make some savings. The thing is, a couple months after getting my job, my ex contacted me. She first asked me to talk. I believe that she may want to reconnect or something, but she showed up with a 5-year-old child, claiming he was my son and demanding child support. I didn't believe her, but the child's age matched the time since we cut contact. I got advice from a lawyer friend of mine to try to solve this out of the court. I offered to take responsibility, pay all the costs, and be an active part of the kid's life, only after making a DNA test. Everyone was okay with this except for my ex. She acted offended and demanded to just give her the money she deserved. She used all the excuses she could, even contacted my family to tell them I was trying to avoid taking responsibility for her child. When she ran out of excuses, and the DNA test was finally made, and surprise, I'm not the father. She was so mad with the result and cried about the money, saying it was unfair and she deserved it. But she didn't accomplish anything. Moving on to the last week, there was a little party on my parents' house. My brother, a friend, and I were talking, and my brother started to joke about the situation with my ex. My friend and I started to joke about it too. Some of our comments were a little dark and bad, but we were far away from the rest of the people. We were literally on the opposite side of the house, and nobody else could hear us. At least that's what we thought. We were laughing like crazy when my sister appeared very angry and pushed me against the wall. She spied on us and heard our conversation, and she was really mad. She started to yell at us about how horrible people we were for mocking a poor woman. A few hours later, when the party ended, she asked me to go to the kitchen with our parents, and she started to say how awful I was for the previous situation. Apparently, my ex had been in contact with her, and she believed her version, and that was her way to have an intervention. My brother and I were like, "Are you serious?" When she started to say how I forced my ex into being a single mother, and that I have the moral obligation to help her. My dad only said that we maybe were being too cruel making jokes of her, but that I wasn't responsible for that kid. My mom then surprised all of us when she said, "Even if the kid is not yours, you are making more than enough money to support that child. You should have helped her." Since then, I have been receiving texts. My dad and my brother are on my side, saying I'm not responsible for her, but my sister is telling me how horrible I am for ruining their lives. My mom only said, "It's your decision and I respect it. I'm just very disappointed that you ended up being so selfish. I'm aware that she doesn't deserve my money and I'm not planning to give her any, but the constant harassment of my sister trying to guilt me, it's just exhausting." Update. My ex demanded me for child support for a kid that is not mine. My mother and sister are on their side. It's been a while. After my last post, I read all the comments and decided to show them to my mother. We had a talk about the situation. Again, she started on my ex's side, but after reading the post and all the comments and opinions, she realized she was wrong. I think the thing that hurt her the most was all the doubts about if she cheated on my dad and I wasn't his son, and if that was the reason if she was on her side. We had a very long conversation. She told me that she believed my ex because she was always so nice and kind with her, that she decided to not believe me when I told her all the things she did to me during the relationship, because a good girl like her could never do something like that. So, I must be lying. After that, she apologized to me. We are good now. On the other hand, my sister, at first she decided that she wouldn't talk to me until I take responsibility, but after some days I talked with her. She is totally on her side, even after showing her everything. She said that none of that matters, because a woman's word goes first, and that's all the proof anyone could need. Also, she said that even if you are not the biological father, you have an effective responsibility with her. So, you must be man enough to take charge of them and start acting like a real man. She was a lost cause. About my ex, I did some research and I found out that shortly after we broke up, she started dating another guy, or maybe she was cheating on me with him before, I'm not sure. They broke up some weeks later, and she had multiple dates until she found she was pregnant. I also found that she had been trying to find a father to her kid for the last 2 years, and I was the next on the list. but looks like she is desperate now because she was never that aggressive with any other one before. Now, the reason for this post. Some days ago, my ex and my sister came to my workplace. They made a big sign with my face that said, "He abandoned his child, an irresponsible father," and started a drama, saying all their crap. Their intention was to shame me and use the social pressure to force me to take action. They literally said it. To not make the story too long, they were taken out of the place. I got problems for that scandal, even after showing all the proof and legal documents that showed they were lying. I was told that this better never happen again or I'll be fired. After that, I contacted my friend, the lawyer, and we are now redacting a very long, detailed lawsuit against them, my ex and my sister too. They were too far. Now I'm going against them with everything. Maybe that'll scare them enough to leave me alone. Update 2. My ex demanded me for child support for a kid that is not mine. My mother and sister are on their side. Hi everyone, and sorry for the lack of news. Last week had been crazy with a lot of stuff, but I think now is a good moment to update you all. First of all, I'm not allowed to talk a lot about the lawsuit. The most I can share with you is that my ex was extremely freaked out when she found out about it. She is now begging to drop it. She offered to take back everything she said, to never bother or even contact me again. She even tried to guilt me, saying that I would be ruining her and her son's life. But honestly, I don't care. I got tired of being the good guy long time ago. She messed with me. Now I'm fighting back. And for my sister, the lawsuit at first only made her worse. As her attempt to shame me in my job didn't work as well as she wanted, she moved it to social media, spreading her BS about me abandoning my child, or not taking responsibility, and exposing my legal actions like acts of censorship and misogyny. But in the end, that will be worse for her, not only because I can dismiss her defamation easily, but also as more evidence to our favor. Anyways, this is going to be a long road, and we are just beginning. Recently, we had a party at my parents' home. Every year we use this excuse to have a big family party before Christmas. I had my doubts because I didn't want to be near my sister, but after some relatives assured me that she wouldn't be there, I decided to go. Big mistake. She was there. Mom decided that, despite everything that happened, I was taking all this too far, so she wanted all us to meet to solve this problem as a family. I tried to get out of there the moment I realized what she intended, but some relatives tried to stop me while my mom cried that I needed to stop, that I was tearing apart the family and needed to learn to forgive and let go. I realized that, despite everything, even knowing I was telling the truth, she was still on my sister's side. I got out there, telling her that I'm not attending any family events again if she is there, and to not ever think of trying this BS again. At this point, almost all my family knows what she did. Some of them think my sister is crazy. Some others think she is crazy, but I'm taking it too far. A couple days ago, Mom invited me to spend Christmas with them. I didn't want to go after what she did, but I decided to give her a chance after she swore that it wouldn't happen again. But not only had she planned to do it again, my brother warned me that this time she intended to lock me in until I forgive my sister and stop the nonsense. I called my mom and told her I knew and that I was done with her and my sister. To not talk to me until she realized she supported the wrong person, and to apologize. I don't need to say how many times she tried to call me the following hours, and all the drama she made when I didn't show up for Christmas. But again, I'm tired of being the good guy. So, that's it for the moment. Hope all you had a nice Christmas, and I wish you a happy and drama-free New Year. Update 3. My ex demanded me for child support for a kid that is not mine. My mother and sister are on their side. Hi to all that are still here. It has been a while, more than a year, and I think now is a good time to give an update about everything that happened with my life during the last year. Lots of things happened. Lots of things have changed. The lawsuit. To be short, I won. We didn't get into trial. All got solved in conciliation meetings. My lawyer's strategy was to add all the things we could think, from the harassment, the defamation, to the attempts to put my job in risk, parental fraud, everything. The idea was to scare the shit out of them, and if that didn't work, there would be lots of charges against my ex and my sister. My sister kept calling it a bluff and kept posting all her BS on social media, something she regrets now, as every single word she posted against me came back to bite her when it was used as proof. My ex took back everything she said, aside from my forgiveness after seeing that she would lose a lot. So she ended up accepting to compensate the damages off court and left my sister alone in a battle she started. When my sister realized how big things really were, that she was alone now, and she will lose, she freaked out, deleted every single post she did, tries to pretend she never did what she did. But at that point we had all the backups, screenshots, and recordings we needed. On the last conciliation meeting, she broke down crying, begging me to forgive her and to not make her this. But she did this to herself. She had multiple chances to stop, but she kept pushing and ended up facing the consequences of her own stupidity. She had to pay me a good amount, plus all the legal costs. My mother helped her to pay, but now she has a considerable debt as my dad demanded her to pay them back over time. For a few months, she resented me for what I did. But we ended up talking and getting back on good terms. Our relationship is damaged but healing. She confessed to me that at the beginning, she felt she was fighting for a good reason. For a cause she believed in, to defend a poor woman in need, she believed she was doing the right thing. So she was sure she had to win in the end. Those ideas were supported by her friends, as she said. Those girls were encouraging her to fight, to face me and make me fulfill my obligations, that she was fighting in the name of other women. And those ideas kept on her mind, until things got too real, when she saw there was no way she would win. Then all those girls disappeared. My ex left her alone. All the ones who gave her support wished her luck and went away. So she had no other choice but to surrender. So, that's how things ended with them. And for the ones who suspected, no, my sister and my ex weren't in a relationship. I don't know where my ex is, and I don't care. She paid and disappeared, and I hope to never see her again. Some people had told me I went too far with her. Even some called me a monster for ruining a single mother who already was in trouble, and some had said, I'm not loyal to my family for taking this far the issue instead of solving it inside the family. At this point, I don't care anymore. 2. My mother. For the months the conciliation lasted, my mom went on my sister's side. Multiple times she tried to convince me to stop, from asking me to just let it go, to trying to guilt me for everything she could think. She even threatened me to disown me, to say she would not see me as a son anymore, to separate me from the family. But at the end she couldn't, and was, and still is, resented. For all those months, and after all was over, I kept asking myself why she does this, why she just kept treating me like this, putting on everyone's side except mine. So, after reading multiple people saying to do this, I finally got to do 3. The DNA test. After talking about it with my brother and dad, all agreed it was too rare. My mom acted like this, and because everything my mom said and implied, my dad had more and more doubts, to the point he was sure she did something. After some beers, a very hard talk, some tears, and the promise that, no matter what the results say, to me and my bro he will always be our dad, we made the DNA test. Both of us are his sons. My dad was so relieved, but then very embarrassed for having doubts of his wife's loyalty. He felt very ashamed. So we ended up agreeing, apologizing to her for what we did. As I started the talk of the DNA test, I asked to be the first to talk and apologize to her. That night, all of us gathered at my dad's house. We sat around the table and I started by recognizing all the fights and tension we had over the months and apologizing for it, because, after all, she is my mother. But her behavior make us all wonder and have lots of doubts about why she was being like this. So I suggested all go make a DNA test. Right after saying that, my mom went livid, and half a second later her face went red, got up from the chair and threw at me, pulling my hair, scratching and hitting me, screaming, "Why did you do this? I hate you. You had no right." My father and my brother separated her from me. She immediately started to ask for forgiveness from my dad. My dad was surprised and furious when he told her that I was about to apologize to her because the results said we were his sons. Her face was a mix of fear and desperation. Her reaction told us everything. I never saw my dad so angry. She confessed that long ago she had an affair for a long time, until she got pregnant with me. She never knew if she got pregnant by my dad or by her lover, as they rarely used condoms, and she multiple times let him finish inside. All these years she had doubts about who my real father was, and she pretended to take this secret to the grave. But now, she exposed herself, and now it all made sense. That was the reason she always treated me like this. That's why she always put everyone else's word before me. Dad threw her away that night, and in very little time, All the family knew about it. We warned them in case she tried to tell any lies, things that she hated, because she called us saying we had no right to say anything, that she is our mother and we can't say anything against her. 4. The aftermath. So, to conclude this craziness, I want a good amount of money. My brother is still my best friend. My relationship with my sister is damaged, but healing, and she's separated from her toxic and misandric friends. My ex is gone, I hope forever this time. Dad is hurt. Mom revealed to be a cheater, but they're not divorcing. She is back at my dad's home, but he hasn't forgiven her, and for what he said, he never will, but he doesn't want to get through a divorce or give her anything he had worked for. On his words, they're married, but they're not a couple, and she now is trying to make earn my dad's forgiveness. And of course, my mom now openly hates me, because to her, I'm the cause of all her problems. In her words, if you had done what I said and took charge of the kid, none of this would have happened. I hope you're happy now. And that's it. Sorry for the text wall. Hope you all had a good 2023 and also wish you a good 2024. I will keep working, saving, and trying to build a life away from this madness. I'll probably cut contact with my mom, but I don't care at this point anymore. Edit. Thanks to all of you guys. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of comments. I saw lots of you are kind of worried about some things I said. So for all that had suggested therapy, yes, I'm already on it. I've been seeing a psychologist once a month since I found out about my mom's cheating. It has been helping a lot. For the ones who are worried, I'm not going to start hating women from now on. I'm aware not all women are this bad. I'm outside there are lots of awesome and amazing ones. But after all this is hard for me to trust anyone, not just women. About my dad, me and my brother tried to convince him multiple times to go for a divorce, but he made his choice and God knows he will stick to it. Even after we promised to help him in case he ends up losing too much, there is no way to make him change his mind. My relationship with my mother is in the worst state ever. I consider it lost. After knowing the truth and over therapy, lots of things started to make sense about how all my life she put everyone else's words before me, or how she always used to put herself on everyone's sides except mine, knowing that she always resents me, and that all the efforts I made in my childhood were a waste, hurts. I'm not planning on having a relationship with her anymore.